Welcome to Spine Chilling Chats podcast, where we like to spill the tea. If you're into the macabre and enjoy hearing about true crime, supernatural, or spooky experiences, pull up a chair, pour yourself a cup of tea, and get ready for some spine chilling chats with Manda and Ange.
Hi to all the spooks out there. I'm Ange.
And I'm Manda.
If this is your first time joining us, welcome.
Hi.
We're like discovering an extra fry at the bottom of the bag.
Oh, those are my favorite.
A little bonus that makes your day that much better.
Because we do that for you and we know it.
Yeah, we that bonus. And if this isn't your first time joining us, welcome back. You're here for the fries, and you know the best ones are always hidden.
Oh, yeah.
We're that hidden gem.
We are.
But we don't have to be.
No.
Spread the word.
Let them know we're here.
Share the fries, man.
Yeah. Like, there's enough of us to go around.
Why are you hogging the fries?
Shit. Okay. So, we're now in September.
Yep.
And Ange decided to do a 2-for-1.
That was in August.
So, with her having the 2-for-1, I cannot be outdone. So I have 5. 5 small ones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Told you I was on it this time.
Okay.
All right. First one is Paul Michael Stephani. Was born September 8th, 1944 in Austin, Minnesota. He was known as the Weepy-Voiced Killer.
What a name.
Weepy-Voiced Killer. Due to the calls that he made to the police.
Oh, I think I've heard about him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have much on him. Like whatever I found, it wasn't really a lot, which I know he's one of the not bigger ones, but like people have covered him.
Yeah.
So check them out. I don't know who covered him, but I'm sure they have more information than me. But they called him that because he called the police and said that he killed 3 women in St. Paul and Minneapolis. And he said, I quote, "God damn, will you find me? I just stabbed somebody with an ice pick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody." He confessed in prison.
But he did this in like a weepy voice.
In a weepy voice.
God damn.
Would you please find me? Because I keep killing people.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, I should have read it like that.
Yeah, you should have.
So, confession in prison was almost 20 years after the first murder, and he was allowed to place. They finally linked the slangs and the phone calls to him. He was convicted of attempted murder and murder. He was married to Beverly Leiter, and they ultimately got divorced. And he had 1 daughter when he was 35 or 36, and in 1980 is when he started killing. At the time of all his crimes and his murders, he was living with his wife and then later his girlfriend. On June 12, 1998, he was 53 years old, and he died of natural causes from skin cancer at Oak Park Heights Prison in Oak Park Heights, Minnesota. There's not much known or posted about his early life. He was sentenced to 40 years in prison, and his killing spree went from 1980 to 1982.
Okay. I just want to play this for them real quick so they can hear it.
Don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry what I did to Compton. I couldn't help it. Don't know why I had to stab her. I am so upset about it. I keep getting drunk every night. I can't believe it's just like a big dream. I can't think of being locked up. If I get locked up, I'll kill myself. I'd rather kill myself than get locked up. I'll try not to kill anybody else.
Fire emergency.
Please don't talk, just listen. I'm sorry I killed that girl. I stabbed her 40 times. Kimberly Compton was the first one. Oh, my safe. I don't know what's the matter with me. I'm sick. I'm going to kill myself, I think.
Where are you?
If somebody dies with a red shirt on, it's me. I killed both people. I'll never make it to heaven. Yes, please. This is an emergency. Please send a squad to Cass Butler Road. Trucking company, machine shop. Please, there's an ambulance too. There's a girl hurt there.
Can you tell me what happened to her?
Just hurry, she's laying on the ground in the back by the railroad tracks, by the edge of hurry.
What's the address?
I don't know.
Who are you?
Oh, you find me? I just stabbed somebody with a nightstick. I can't stop myself. I keep killing somebody. And the caller said, "Can you find me? I just stabbed somebody with
So
a
that's
nightstick.
That's the Weepy.
that's the Weepy-Voiced Killer.
Yeah, like, yeah. I don't know. I don't know about all that. All right, on to the next one.
Okay.
That was what I had for him. Which, I mean, if you're gonna have a weepy voice, you should not be killing.
No.
You know, like, and then to call and tell on yourself. The fuck is that?
Well, he didn't want to kill people apparently, which is good. At least he was
He just
trying
couldn't
to.
stop himself.
Why
like,
didn't he turn himself in then?
Right.
Why not give him his name?
right, and turn himself in and like, will you find me already? Why don't you just turn yourself in, fucker?
Yeah.
Ugh. All right, Marie Fikáčková was born September 9th, 1936 in Sušice, a town in the Pilsen region of the Czech Republic. There's not much on her background as far as being young and things like that. She did complete college and all her high school schooling. She had anywhere from 2 to 10 victims. She was active from 1957 to 1960 in the Czech Republic. She was convicted of infanticide. Oh, I forgot.
Oh.
Yeah, trigger warning.
Too late.
Yeah, well, before I get into it, trigger warning, there is talks about killing infants, but not really like into detail, so you don't have to worry about that, but yeah. So she was convicted of infanticide. She was born Marie Schmidt. She was active for 4 years and confirmed in 10 possible victims. She was only active in the Czech Republic. Her father abused alcohol and drugs. It's the only information we have on her younger life. She married an unnamed man, and of course the marriage failed, and she had no children. In 1957, at the age of 20 or 21, she started her killing spree. During her crimes as a serial killer, she was known to murder her victims at the time of the crime, obviously. She was living by herself, alone, working as a nurse in the OB department in the hospital of Sušice, where she was a nurse and was arrested in February 27th, 1960, at the age of 23. In October 6, 1960, at the age of 24, she was sentenced to death by hanging. Yeah. At the Prague Panrak Remand Prison in Prague, Czech Republic. She was charged on infanticide and other possible charges during her lifetime. She was hung or hanged or executed on April 13th, 1961, at the age of 24.
Wow.
Yeah. 10 confirmed victims. So,
Man.
and yeah, they were infants, which is really super sad because,
It
like, they
is.
didn't do anything. They didn't ask to be here. I don't understand. How can you kill a newborn? They're so innocent.
And they're so, like, how can't you just want to
Cuddle them.
it? And
Like, I seriously thought about getting, like, what do you call it? Like, volunteering to be a cuddler at the hospital.
oh,
They have those.
that would be the best.
I know. And this, oh, the little bodies. But yeah, she was hung, which I thought
Hanged.
was hanged. I don't understand.
They don't do the past tense.
I know.
It's just
It's
hanged.
stupid, but I'm surprised that was still a thing in 1960.
But it's. You said Czech Republic,
Yeah.
so I don't know. When you say Czech Republic, I think of like
What I said in the first episode about people having dirt floors.
yeah. I think of like a frozen tundra, like Russia. You know.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
On to the third person, Harrison Frank, or Marty, Graham. Harrison Frank Marty Graham was born September 9th, so another September baby, 1959, in Philadelphia. He was the oldest of 5 children. Early on, he showed signs of an intellectual disability, and he had problems in school and discipline and attendance. Olney High School, where he was forced to drop out after the 10th grade because he was failing, and he had a lot of absences in 1971. His mother said he was diagnosed with a mental disorder, and he was put in a mental hospital for 2 years because his mom said that he was diagnosed with one. So for 2 years he went to a mental hospital instead of finishing high school. But that had not been verified in the early 70s. He went to work and worked in many aspects of the construction industry. In 1979, he left his parents' house and moved to North Philadelphia. He lived in the neighborhood of poverty and crime and began to drink alcohol and use drugs and spend time among pimps and prostitutes. Their words, not mine. He was tall and athletic, but was not violent towards others and was never prosecuted for any crime until 1983. No crime in 1983. He rented an apartment in a housing complex with a lot of vacant apartments. A lot of the residents, including Graham, had a fenced-off area where they bought and sold drugs. And in 4 years following this, he turned his apartment into a drug den. Friends and acquaintances would visit, buy drugs consisting mainly of Ritalin and similar substances. He was never known to engage in violent acts. He paid his rent. He played basketball with the kids. He was living on his disability and pension, and he was described as a nice man by friends and neighbors.
So what happened?
I'm getting to that. I don't know. But yeah, like he was described as a nice man. He had a disability, so but he bought and sold drugs out of his apartment, but he was still a friendly, super nice guy.
Yeah.
Okay. In 1987, during the summer, neighbors complained to the landlord about an odor coming from his apartment. After a lot of remarks, which he ignored, August 9th, he demanded that the landlord, demanded that Graham vacate the premises. Graham refused to let anyone in, boarding up the front door with boards, then getting his stuff and leaving out the fire escape. When the landlord wasn't able to get into the apartment, they called the police. The police broke down the door and found a naked corpse of a black woman and a partial corpse of another. Traces of blood and drugs, as well as a layer of garbage, 40 centimeters high, and a pile of dirty mattresses and a skeleton.
Oh my!
Wait till you hear what he took with him, because he took things. That's what it said, right? Getting his stuff. Okay. They found more skeletonized remains wrapped in a blanket in his closet while they were on the roof inspecting
He had skeletons in his closet?
He did. Yeah. The investigators found a green duffel bag, which also contained bones of hands and feet and legs of another murder victim. While they evacuated the basement, a skull, rib cage, and pelvic bone belonging to a 7th victim. Since all of the bodies but 2 were in a state of severe dark decomposition, they could not determine their cause of death. The other ones were determined to be strangulation, who was put on the list for weeks to follow.
So he's just leaving all these bodies to rot while
in the
he's
basement
still living
and in his
there?
closet.
Could you imagine the smell? How is he?
No
How
idea.
Could you, man?
And they only complained about the odor coming from his apartment.
So did he only have access to the basement?
No, they had access to the roof.
No, I mean like other people. Did they have access to the basement? Like why aren't they seeing these?
Because there was a lot of vacant apartments and it was known for a drug house, so really they probably didn't care to go in the basement. They were only there for one thing, use drugs.
Yeah, but you said his neighbors were complaining.
Well, yeah,
about the smell.
There was a lot of vacant, but there were still people that lived there.
Why didn't
they only complained about his apartment, so maybe they didn't have any reason to go in the basement. I mean, I'm nosy as fuck, so I'll
Yeah,
go
I'd
in the
be
basement and checking stuff out. Going on the roof.
I want to see what I'm paying for if I have
Right.
access to all these places.
Well, and in an apartment, some apartment places, you have storage in the basement. Like, you have an area
Yeah.
where you put your extra storage. So, why would you not go down there? I don't know. I don't know. He was seen on public transportation, fast food restaurants, homeless shelters, car washes, and got away with it and avoided being captured. On August 17th, he went and found his mother. She convinced him to surrender, and she called the police. He was arrested that same day by the Philadelphia police officer, Ed Spangler, and the police officer, Larry Bricky. He was about 10 blocks away from the apartment and confessed to all the killings. In his confession, he explained his strangled woman during sex and after doing drugs. He committed his first murder at the end of 1986. Killed one of the victims solely because she had discovered one of the bodies. So maybe there were people going in the basement.
Yeah, and he
then
just
killed them.
took care of them.
The forensic exams that 2 of the recent victims were strangled 10 days prior to them being discovered. Oh, they found her, the one that he confessed to, 10 days prior to them discovering the other 5 that had been dead for 6 to 12 months.
Man.
They were.
I just can't even imagine the smell.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yuck.
Like, it had to have been bad.
He had how many victims? I don't know how many victims, but yeah. Yeah.
Sheesh.
It had to be nasty.
Yeah.
Kind of like Dahmer's apartment.
Yeah.
You know how they complained about the smell in his apartment, and
But at least he kept, like, most of his stuff in the freezer, didn't he?
yeah, and they only found it because the freezer went out,
Yeah.
and you know he's had spoiled hamburger meat.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The victims were identified as 27-year-old Cynthia Brooks, 25-year-old Valerie Jameson, 36-year-old Mary Jeter Mathis, 22-year-old Barbara Mahoney, 29-year-old Robin Deshazor, I don't know, 33-year-old Sandra Garvin, and 24-year-old Patricia Franklin. It was discovered that Robin was
That's why, on mine, you'll notice that, like, I'll read their names once, but then afterwards, when I refer to people, I only use their first names.
Yeah, I cannot.
Because last names are hard.
Yes.
I mean, some first names are hard enough.
Yes.
But usually they're easier than the last names.
Yeah, because that was, it's Deshazor.
Yeah.
So is it Deshauser? Dashhaus? I don't know. Deshazor?
Robin?
Whatever. Robin. They discovered that Robin was his longtime girlfriend. After an argument with his mom, she went to Robin's apartment to visit and saw both of them doing drugs. So after an argument with his mom, the mom went to Robin's apartment and saw both of them doing drugs. And an acquaintance. And they saw him beat Robin in 1984. But everybody said he was a nice man.
Yeah, what's going on there?
No idea.
Apparently he's not too nice.
Nope. The trial began March 7th, 1988. He refused the trial during preliminary hearings because he admitted fully to his guilt. Prosecutors demanded the death penalty, but his lawyer, Joe Makowski, demanded that his client be given a lenient sentence due to his intellectual disability and psychological development. He was saying that he was incapable of knowing right from wrong, and with his heavy drug abuse, made him act on impulse without self-control. So they're trying to blame his disability and drug use on why he killed people. Like, no. You kill him sober just as much as you kill him fucked up.
Yeah.
So, whatever. During the court hearings, he appeared completely calm. And on April 28th, 1988, he was found guilty in all charges, receiving 6 death sentences and one life imprisonment term for the murders. But the court ruled that his death sentence would only be carried out after he served his life sentence.
That's stupid.
Right. Right. Like, you're serving a life sentence. You're never getting out. You're dying in prison. So how are you going to get your death penalty?
Yeah.
No idea. I thought that was weird, too.
After he dies naturally, you got to resuscitate him and then
Be like,
kill
you
him.
can't die. Not yet.
Yep. Now we got to inject you.
Yeah. So after he served his life sentence, so he will never be executed. After all of a sudden, he asked his lawyer to give him back his Cookie Monster.
What?
He asked his lawyer to give him back his Cookie Monster. Those are the only words he had to say.
What the fuck is his Cookie Monster?
Cookie Monster.
Like a stuffed Cookie Monster?
Yeah, like the blue guy.
I know who Cookie Monster is, but
Yeah.
what is it in reference to?
Nothing.
It's just a stuffed animal Cookie Monster he wanted?
He just asked the lawyer to give back his Cookie Monster, which was taken from him after he got arrested. He had the doll for years, and that was one of the few items that he took after escaping his apartment.
Okay.
Right. Right.
I have my stuffed animals in a garbage bag out in the garage.
You got Rory's right there.
Well, yeah.
In a garbage bag.
And that's because we're painting her room.
I know, but like, she's not going to take anything, I would think. Well, she might.
She's got some in her room that she took.
Oh,
to
did
keep
she?
with her. Yeah, while we're painting.
So, yeah. He had the doll for years, so that was one of the few items that he took.
Wow.
They didn't say what the other items were.
I don't know of anything that I would.
I know I wouldn't take anything. Maybe my gun, but Ezra has two rabbit blanket things. So it's a rabbit head with like little ears, and then then it ties around the neck, and it's like a blanket on the bottom. Well, he never took a pacifier. He would suck on their ears. So I had to buy a couple of them so I could wash them because
It got
disgusting.
Gross, yeah.
But he still has them. He will refuse to get rid of them. So if he ever became a serial killer and had to flee his apartment, I guarantee you he'd take those rabbits.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. Like, he will not part with them. I ask him all the time when we're cleaning, like, can I throw your rabbits away? And he's like, no. They're named Remy and Remisy. Don't ask me how he got the names. Because he named them when he was like 3 or 4.
See, the only thing I would probably, like if we had a house fire or something like that.
House fire's different. I would try to grab as much shit as I can.
Oh,
I'd probably die in the house fire trying to grab my
See, I would
shit.
just grab the things that are most sentimental to me, like some of my pictures. I'd probably grab Landon's ashes.
Oh, I would definitely grab Landon's ashes.
Well, they can't become more ash.
No, but you definitely want to keep
Yes,
those.
yes,
It's your
absolutely.
baby.
And then, the pets, of course, and
Of course.
my family. But other than that, just pictures.
I see how you got your pictures first and your family last.
Well,
those priorities.
Yeah, those are a given. But as a serial killer just fleeing, I don't think I would grab anything.
A fucking Cookie Monster?
Because, you can always come back.
Right.
It's not like
unless
a fire
they were staking out your house.
But it's not going to get destroyed if you
No.
don't take it with you at that moment.
No.
So I
Not
would
at
have
all.
just left it.
Right, especially after he evaded police by, at the fast food restaurants and the bus stations and all that stuff. Like, he definitely could have went back
Yeah.
and got it. But yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
Very weird.
I'd say he's probably a bit touched. Yeah.
Yeah. His victims were killed in 1986, so he was guilty of killing 7 women. Oh, there we go. 7 women. Keeping them in his apartment, and he was sentenced to death. But after he served his life sentence, he also lived less than a mile and a half from the home of Gary M. Heineck, who was also arrested during the same time for similar crimes.
What?
Yeah.
What is going on in this area?
No idea. I want to say it's Heinik. So Heineck, Gary M. Heineck. I never heard of him, but he was arrested for similar crimes. So he killed people and kept them in his apartment.
Had skeletons in his closet?
He must have. He's being held at the State Correctional Institute of Cole Township, referred to as SCI Cole Township. It's in Pennsylvania Department of Corrections prison.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's also weird when you hear these things to know that some of them are still alive. Like, some of the cases we cover, I just assume that all the people are dead already.
Me too.
But no, some of them are still alive and just living their lives out in prison.
Yeah.
It's
like
just,
Manson, he was alive in our time. He died. But like he was just living his life in prison.
Yeah.
Like
That's
no
weird
big
to me.
deal. Like
You just assume that they're all dead.
we're living in a lifetime of a known serial killers. Like famous serial killers.
Infamous.
Not infamous. Yes. Because there are serial killers out there that are active. I'm sure of it.
Yeah.
But we don't know about them. We don't know who they are.
Yeah.
So we're living among serial killers, but these are known serial killers. So we're living in that lifetime. It's crazy. Especially serial killers from like the 60s.
Yeah.
Could still be alive.
Yeah.
And
A lot of them are.
Yeah. And we're just living amongst them.
Well, no, they're probably in prison.
Well, yeah, but I mean like they're,
but they're alive, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It's weird.
Yeah. All right. My next one is Louise Peete. She was born Lofi, L-O-F-I, Louise Pressler. And she was born on September 20th, 1880.
Oh, so she's
Yeah.
older.
Yep.
She is not alive.
No. I would think not.
No.
She was born in Bienville, Louisiana. Her father was a prominent and wealthy newspaper publisher. Quote, came from cultured, educated people. My parents were not delinquents and did not rear delinquent children. End quote.
Then what the fuck are you?
Exactly.
Because I know you probably ain't good.
That's what I was thinking. She went to a private school in New Orleans, but she was expelled at 15 for stealing from her classmates and having engaged in promiscuous behavior.
That sounds pretty delinquent to me.
But her parents did not raise delinquent children.
Uh-huh.
She married a traveling salesman in 1903, Henry Bosley. But he committed suicide 4 years later after he caught Pete in bed with another man. After his death, she went to Shreveport and worked as a high-class prostitute and stealing money from her clients.
Not a delinquent.
Not at all. Not at all. She moved to Boston, Massachusetts in 1911 and changed her name to Louise M. Gold. And that's when she said that's where she met 19-year-old Dallas Aris. And she changed her name to R.H. Roseley. She told everybody that she had been sent to a convent by her family and that she had ran away. She placed herself into several wealthy Boston families with her beauty and charm. She convinced one family to take her in. She charged items to the family of some of Boston's most expensive stores and stole money from their friends and employees. When her identity was discovered, they allowed her to leave town, avoiding embarrassment for the families that she charged things to the family's accounts.
How is that embarrassing them?
Because they got duped.
Yeah, but she's a duper.
Yeah, but they didn't know that, so they thought that they
But
got.
Yeah, but that's not their fault.
No, but back then in 1911,
they were trying to be.
You got to keep your reputation. You can't have somebody
good
getting at you.
person. I don't know. I don't feel like that's something to be embarrassed about.
I don't either, but it's back in 1911, so like you got to keep up your image. You can't have people stealing from you, and like I don't know. It's kind of like Rockefeller. You know what I mean? Like people were embarrassed about that situation because you don't know about Rockefeller?
I know of the Rockefellers. Rockefellers.
But yeah. Okay, so she moved to Waco, Texas, and started dating a wealthy oil baron named Joe Appel. A week later, he was found shot to death, and his diamond jewelry was missing. She was arrested for murder, but convinced the jury that she killed in self-defense because he attempted to rape her. She moved to Dallas, and she married Harry Fargout. a night clerk who worked at the St. George Hotel. Shortly after they got married, she stole $20,000 worth of jewels from the hotel safe. The police questioned her husband and cleared him. They suspected the theft, and no evidence was linking her or her husband. And her husband was so embarrassed being accused and his wife's infidelities that guess what he did?
What?
He shot himself.
I'm seeing a pattern here.
Yeah. But they're questioning that he could have been another one of her victims.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I feel like her first one was one of her victims.
Uh-huh.
Like,
For sure.
He caught her with another man and then just
He killed
himself.
And now this one has infidelities and being accused of theft. So he kills himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. By 1915, she had moved to Denver, Colorado. She's getting around the States, that's for sure. There she married a salesman, Richard Peete. They had a daughter, Frances, but also was known as Betty, in 1916. Her and her husband fought constantly and finally separated in the summer of 1920. After that, she left her husband and daughter and moved to Los Angeles, California, where she met Jacob C. Denton, a widower with a teenage daughter who had made millions as a mining engineer before retiring. They met while she was asking about a room to rent in his 14-room Tudor Revival mansion. 14-room, and it was just him and his daughter.
I want to live there.
Yeah, well, it was located at 675 South Catalina Street near Wilshire Boulevard. So, that was in Los Angeles. He wanted to rent it out for $350 a month. He went on a business trip in June, but for some reason, he allowed her to rent the mansion for $75 a month.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because he wanted $350, but he allowed her to rent it for $75. On May 26, she had moved in just a few days before he planned to leave. The relationship between the two is not known, but she was known as his live-in girlfriend / housekeeper and tenant. Even though she never signed a lease, she would say that they were involved romantically.
Mm-hmm.
On June 2nd, 1920, about a week after she moved into the mansion, Denton disappeared. She hired a gardener to transport a load of dirt into the basement.
This isn't looking suspicious at all.
No, into the basement, saying she was going to grow mushrooms. Don't ask me. I don't know. Her words, not mine. That was on June 5th. She forged his signature to withdraw $300 from his bank account and gain access to his safety deposit box. The bank officially noticed that his signature looked weird. Can't spit that out 3 times fast. Pete claimed his right arm had been amputated after he was shot by an angry, mysterious Spanish-looking woman.
You have got to be kidding me.
The story just gets wilder and wilder. Like, I'm telling you.
And people are buying this?
Yes.
They just don't give a fuck. It's not that they bought it. They just were like, whatever.
This chick, like,
This
she's going through all this trouble.
This
like,
is my
we just
9 to
gotta-
5. I don't get paid enough to care,
Exactly.
lady. Just take your shit. I don't care.
She claimed that he had gotten into an argument with her. His signature was unusual because she had to help him write checks and sign his name with his left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Several different versions of the story went on, where a mysterious woman had cut his arm and leg off with a sword. She claimed he was in seclusion as he was ashamed by his amputated arm and would only see and speak to her and a few friends and business associates and neighbors.
Uh-huh.
No, business associates and neighbors were asking her to tell him where he was. Of course, she gave several different stories, which included it was an extended business trip in various locations and would return shortly. In the meantime, she began posing as his wife, spending his money, driving his Cadillac, his jewelry, and possessions, renting out rooms in his mansion and pocketing the rent money.
Didn't he have a daughter, though? What happened with her?
It doesn't say. She convinced the tenants to make the checks out to her in August. She bought 2 expensive dresses at Bullock's and charged them to his name and was still claiming to be his wife.
So, back then,
here we go.
Could you just, like, go up to any store and say, hey, put it on this person's account?
I guess.
They didn't ask for any kind of proof or whatever?
And, like, who has accounts like that nowadays?
Well, nobody nowadays.
Right.
Well, maybe
some,
maybe
I bet.
celebrities.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. No information, no identification, no nothing. Just like I can go into Macy's and be like, yo, I'm the wife of Angela Lindemood. I want to charge this $300 dress to her account.
Yeah, that's
and they'd be like, okay,
fucked up.
whatever.
Yeah.
They'd be like, can I see your ID? And around this time, his daughter hired an attorney.
Oh, there she is.
Yep, there she is. To find her father, they questioned Pete, but she said she didn't know where he was and agreed to forward his financial and business documents as soon as possible. Now that Pete was gone, Denton's daughter had the property searched, and on September 23rd, a private detective hired by the attorney found Denton's decomposing body buried in the basement in a wooden cubicle under the stairs.
Was there mushrooms growing on it?
I don't know. The autopsy determined that he had been shot in the head and strangled. His body was bound by numerous cords and wrapped in a quilt. They found Pete in Denver and questioned her. She said she was not involved, but offered different scenarios to explain his death. Imagine that. Again, she says the identified mysterious Spanish woman had shot him, causing his arm to be amputated, was his killer, but was also dismissed. His body was found with his right arm attached, despite her claims that he was hiding because he was embarrassed about his missing arm.
She's dumb.
She said that the body was not dead, but I'm a double who Denton had killed and was brought back to L.A. and indicted on one of the murders, and her trial started on January 21st, 1921. So, like, she said that it was a body double. Yeah.
But they didn't believe it.
No.
Obviously.
Right. Her trial was covered by several newspapers nationwide, and on February 17th, 1921, she was convicted and sentenced to life in prison. During the trial, on the first 2 years of the sentence, her husband Richard remained loyal and believed that she was innocent.
He's dumb.
In 1923, she told Richard that he should divorce her and that he would be free to remarry. He obliged, but that he would wait forever for her to release. Yeah. So they divorced. She stopped answering his letters and refused to see him. And because he was so upset about being rejected, guess what he did?
He shot himself?
He shot himself in Arizona hotel room in 1924. She said that her ex-husband killed himself because he felt guilty over her being convicted and despondent over his own poor health.
But she was in prison at that point, so
yeah,
he really did.
He really did. But all the other ones?
That just seems unlikely.
Yeah. Yep.
Hmm.
Weird, right?
It's very weird.
So yeah, that was the story of Louise Peete. Louise. And on to the last story. Thomas Richard Bunday.
Bunday.
He was born September 28th, 1948. He was an American serial killer who killed from 1979 to 1981. He killed young women and girls in Fairbanks, Alaska. During his killings, he was serving at the Eielson Air Force. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Air Force Base near Fairbanks. For a long time, nobody had any suspicion despite confessing to the crimes. He was not immediately arrested. Due to a mistake, he remained free for another 8 days.
At least it's only 8 days.
Right, but like, due to a mistake, they just let him go. And like, he admitted to the crimes.
Yeah.
Whatever. So he stayed, remained free for 8 days until his apparent suicide. On a motorcycle It was an accident for unknown reasons that he did not make any effort to evade justice. He didn't make any effort to evade justice, yet he committed suicide.
Yeah.
That is an effort.
The ultimate effort.
Right. He was born in Nashville, Tennessee. He was the youngest of 2 children. His older brother is Ralph, which is 15 years older than him. He spent his childhood in a socially unfavorable situation. His father was a World War II veteran and had mental disorders and was aggressive towards his wife and younger son, which is him. His father died in 1963, and Thomas refused to go to his funeral and then ran away from home for several days. He was not popular among other children at school, but he was a good student and sociable and had many friends and acquaintances, which ultimately helped him have a positive outlook on life. So far, it's going in the right direction.
What happened?
Okay. He graduated high school in 1966 and married his high school sweetheart in 1967.
Aww.
And then joined the Air Force. He got the rank of technical sergeant in 1960 and in the early 70s. Was serving in Southeast Asia. He was serving while his wife gave birth to their son. Even though this happened, he continued to live with his He was serving while his wife gave birth to the son.
So it's not his son.
No.
No.
That's the way I took it. Despite this happening, he continued to live with his wife and she gave birth to a daughter. But because of the affair, it strained the relationship, and in the mid-70s, when he went to Alaska, that's when he showed emotional burnout and began visiting a psychotherapist. So they had some strain on their relationship.
But that's good that he went to get help.
Yeah.
I mean, that's showing promise that, he realized there was issues.
Oh, the relationship ended in the mid-70s. So, but yeah, like he was trying to get help.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened because now we're on to the murders.
Okay.
They began in August 29th, 1979, when Glenda Sodman, age 19, went missing. They found her body 2 months later in a gravel pit near the highway, 23 miles south of Fairbanks. 11-year-old Doris O-Ring went missing on June 13th, 1980. The brother of the deceased told police a few days before his sister disappeared, he saw her talking to a stranger sitting in a blue car wearing an Air Force uniform. They made a complete ID of the criminal, sketch with the help of his, with the help of him seeing him. Oh, it's your cat.
Yeah.
Scared me.
Wait, did you think it was a fuzzy demon?
I didn't. My toe got cold, and I'm like,
Got cold.
yeah, because his nose was touching my toe. On January 31st, 1980, 20-year-old. I put 120-year-old.
Wow.
So I don't know if it's 12-year-old or 20-year-old. I apologize. Marlene Peters went missing, who, when she disappeared, she was hitchhiking, so it must be 20-year-old, hitchhiking from Fairbanks to Anchorage. 5 weeks later, Wendy Wilson, age 16, disappeared on her way to Olps to see her boyfriend. And her boyfriend's mom offered her a ride home before she disappeared. But, yeah. 18-year-old Lori King disappeared on May 16th, 1981. And right before her disappearance, Marlene Peters, Merlin Peters.
Merlin, like the wizard.
Merlin, that's what I have on here when I did. It's Marlene. Partially decomposed body was found in October of 1981. O-ring was found near the Isles and Air Base. That's when the police discovered that it's possibly a serial killer from the military operating on their territory. During the investigation, they inspected and questioned people who were in the Air Force, employees and civilians. February 3rd, 1982, only 3 people were on the suspect list because of their distinguished behavior towards women. One of them being Bunday, he had been transferred to Wichita Falls, Texas. He has served until September of 1981. He was arrested on March 7th, 1983, and was interrogated by the police at the police station. Along with the interrogation, searches were conducted on his house and the trunk of his car. Evidence was finally linked to the murders in Fairbanks. When Thomas found out about this, he admitted to killing 5 women and girls and described in detail the murders and circumstances in which they occurred. He was also questioned about Cassandra Goodwin on March 22nd, but he did not admit to her that he had indications of psychological problems and sexual complexes, and that's why he had the motive for committing the murders. Even though he confessed, he was not arrested and had been released because there was no warrant for his arrest. So that's why he was released in the beginning, like when I said in the beginning, because there was no warrant. On March 15th, 1983, they went to arrest him, but he was not immediately arrested in Texas. He was riding his motorcycle, and he was about 40 miles outside of Wichita Falls, and he rode into oncoming traffic and collided with a truck. He died instantly, and it was recognized as a suicide.
Did the person driving the truck survive? Were they okay?
I would assume. It didn't say, but I would assume, yeah. And those are my 5 people.
Wow.
It's crazy, right? They're all wild stories. Like, how?
The one
lady?
lady, yeah,
Yes.
growing mushrooms.
Louise Peete.
Cutting his legs off with
His arm off.
Yeah, come on.
By the serious Spanish lady.
Come on.
Yeah. So I had to tell you something I wanted to tell you in the beginning, but I'm going to tell you now. Last night, I was laying in bed, so I guess this would be... And I was awake 100%. And Ezra was at work 100%. And somebody clear as day said, Amanda. I whipped my head around because I was facing the wall so fast and nobody was standing there.
Was it a man's voice, a woman's voice?
It was a man's voice. Ezra was not home. He was at work.
Well, and he wouldn't call you Amanda anyways.
No. Isn't that weird?
What did you do?
I just turned around and looked and I was like, maybe I just imagined it. And I went to sleep.
Are you going to go to sleep after that?
It was clear as day. It was like, Amanda. And I was like, I turned to look like as if somebody really called my name and I was going to say what? Like to answer them. Thinking it was Ezra, but Ezra wasn't home.
And he wouldn't call you Amanda.
Yeah.
Man, that's weird.
Isn't it crazy? I told you my house is haunted. I told you.
I don't know.
So, yeah. Isn't that insane? Scared the shit out of me. But then I was like, maybe I'm just imagining it. So I just turned over and went to bed.
I don't think I could have gone to sleep after that.
Yeah. Yep. So.
I wonder.
Me too. So that's all I have.
You should try to communicate with them. Get like the little
a Ouija board.
No, do like the little chat box thingy. There's an app for that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Ezra and I'll try to contact them.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, so check us out on...
But set up, if you do, set up some intentions first. Let them know they're not allowed to harm you.
No.
You know.
Don't harm me. Don't do things to me. And I'm not going to do shit to you.
Yeah.
Not that I could. But whatever. So.
And let me know.
Yeah. I will. I'll do that.
Okay.
You have to tell me which app, though.
I'll have to look it up. I don't remember. Because I heard it on one of my podcasts, so I downloaded it and tried. Well, it might be on my phone still.
If you can find your phone.
Yeah, it's dark in here. Because then I did it while I was cleaning in the secured offices, and it started talking. I don't believe it actually does anything. Okay, it's just But it was kind of fun. But then I started getting a little creeped out because it was talking. I was like, this probably isn't the best thing to do while I'm alone in a building.
Speaking of that,
It's Ghost Tube.
Ghost Tube.
It's the black one.
Okay. I'll have to download it when I get home. The funny thing that you say that is I'm usually alone in my building.
Mm-hmm.
Like, besides Kwame, but he doesn't count because he stays in the office for a while. And I listen to Mr. Ballin's podcast. You know who that is?
Yeah.
And it always has like voices and things like that, but they sound so real. I think they're in the building like behind me, so I'm constantly looking, and I'm like, oh wait, that was in the podcast. Or like his little like doo-doo like in the background scares the shit out of me every time. I don't know why I keep listening to him. I like it. That's why I keep listening. But like, I feel like sometimes when he's talking and he does, it's like a voice right next to me.
Have you checked out the Two Girls, One Ghost
I
yet?
have not.
You need to.
I know. I don't.
I really enjoy them. I think you'd like them too.
Two Girls, One Ghost.
Yes.
No. So yeah.
Do.
That was Alexa. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Okay. We're always open for comments, concerns, criticism. So please comment on our stuff.
Yes.
Email us. Let us know what's going on, what you like, what you don't like.
Are we doing a good job? Do we suck?
Do you have any spooky stories you want to tell us? Do you have any suggestions for episodes you want us to cover? Just communicate with us.
Yes.
Let
please.
us know.
Please.
Check out our website at www.spine-chillingchatspodcast.com. There you can find links to more episodes if you haven't already listened to them all. And if you have listened to all, just listen to them again.
Right. Because why not?
Why not? Yeah.
I think we're pretty awesome. So
Yeah,
I'd listen to me again.
We also have a link to our merch store.
Yes.
So check that out.
Mm-hmm.
We have water bottles. We have cups. We have mugs. We have
T-shirts.
pants. We have coffee. We have
Koozies. Tank tops.
Yeah, we just have everything. Check it out.
Men and women.
Yeah. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
We have kids' clothes on there.
Right.
It's for everybody.
Just check it out.
Check it out.
You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and YouTube.
Yeah.
We're not tech savvy, so hang in there with us so we can get the hang of all of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like Ange said, you can submit stories and stuff. We'll omit your name if you don't want it to be in there. We can change it. We can keep your name in there. It's up to you. Just let us know.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, share.
Tell your friends. Skywrite it if you have to.
Yeah, just get us out there.
Tattoo it, like something. So.
Yeah. Well, we really enjoy doing this for you guys. We want you to keep coming back. We plan to keep coming back.
Yes.
And we hope you
keep it spooky.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for joining us on Spine Chilling Chats, your go-to podcast for all things murder, paranormal, and macabre. Keep sipping that spooky tea and diving into the darkness with us. If our tales have sent chills down your spine, don't forget to hit subscribe and share with your fellow lovers of the haunting and horrific. See you next time.